Welcome to the drivers' press conference ahead of the 2019 Chinese Grand Prix. Joining us from left to right this afternoon, we have Alex Albon, Kimi Raikkonen, Sergio Perez, and Romain Grosjean. Gentlemen, I'd like to start with a moment of reflection, given that this is Formula One's 1000th World Championship race. Growing up watching the sport, what made you want to become a Formula One driver? And Romain, if we could start with you, please.
Yeah, good afternoon. I started watching with my dad a long time ago. And it was the time of the Ayrton Senna versus Alain Prost fight. And it was pretty exciting to watch. And my dad always was passionate about cars. So one day he brought me to a racetrack, not a Formula One race. And I saw the cars going and I thought, you know what, that's what I would like to do. And then eventually I was lucky in 1998 to come to Monaco Grand Prix to watch the Thursday practice. And I saw the car and I heard the noise of the engine and just was something very, very unique and special. Good memory of my life. And I remember going to the toilets and DC was there. And he said, "Oh, you go first, son." Still call me son by then. And I was like, no, you go. And, pretty amazing.
Thank you, Romain. Sergio?
Yeah, for me, similar story. I remember the first race I watched with my dad was in '94 actually when Ayrton had his accident. That was the first race I ever saw. So it was quite a shock moment, more for my dad than for me at the time. I didn't understood well what's happening. Obviously from Mexico, Formula One is not very big, so it always seemed too far, like too difficult. It's been a while since we had a driver, so the history back home wasn't big. But as a family, we always loved the sport, and I always wanted to become a Formula One driver. So at a very young age, I went to Europe to fight for it. I remember watching so many races, always waking up very early in the morning, because in Mexico the races are very early, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning. So always on a weekend when you don't want to wake up early, I had to watch Formula One, I actually remember watching Kimi back then at a very young age too.
Thank you, Sergio. Well, Kimi, coming on to you.
Yeah, I think I don't know which year it was, but a long time ago, 80s, that's for sure. So I think the first memories, somewhere when Keke was racing, when he blew up his tire or something, I think in Adelaide or something, with a long straight, maybe last races that he did. So anyhow, obviously was cheering for the Finnish guys, but I didn't think that maybe you dream when you're a kid, but once we start doing go-karts and everything, I didn't really believe that it's going to happen, because obviously so you need a certain amount of money to get from go-karts to racing, and maybe I believed a bit more when I got my managers helping, and then actually got to racing Formula cars, and then obviously it went very quickly, but I guess it was a dream, but not very realistic on that point. But yeah, it went fast once it started to go there.
Thank you, Kimi. Alex, your thoughts?
Yeah, my hero was Michael Schumacher, so that was kind of the guy that I always looked up to. I was Ferrari mad, actually, even if I should say that or not, I don't know. But I loved Schumacher, and I think I was about 6, so a little bit like Roma. I was at Silverstone, and I had like some competition. It was kind of like you had to fill out the top 3 drivers that you thought would win the race, or finish in that order. So I just put my 3 favorite drivers in order. So I just put Michael, Rubens, and Montoya maybe. And for some reason at that race, that's what happened. I think Barrichello was finishing last or something, so no one wrote what I wrote down. And it was kind of this, I think it was in the hospitality of Ferrari. So I won the prize. Got to meet Michael, got to meet Rubens. So it stuck with me that, and always became I was a hardcore fan.
Thank you to all four of you. Alex, if we could just stay with you now. Going well so far. You've out-qualified your teammate in both Australia and Bahrain. Can you just describe the learning curve you've been on so far in Formula One?
Yeah, it's been steep. Getting in the car in Barcelona, getting up to speed. The speed bit was, the cars are so refined now that you do feel quite comfortable with the car straight away. It's more the interaction with the team and kind of just extracting performance outside of the car, which definitely is a lot about the experience. So just being with Danny, listening to him, really listen to his feedback, how he communicates with people, it really does help me. But yeah, it's been going well. Simulator driving, that's helped a lot as well. But no, I'm happy with it so far.
And are you doing anything different with your helmet this weekend?
Yeah, so I've got a Prince Bira tribute. I thought it'd be cool to kind of go back, bring out some of the Thai history in Formula One. So I have, a couple of photos. I think I have his number. Yeah, well, not my number, but kind of in his style, because he had the blue and yellow racing scheme. So yeah, that's about it.
Thank you, Alex. Good luck this weekend. Roman, if we could come on to you now, please. You're a man in need of some good fortune this weekend in China. Just how was last week's test session in Bahrain? Did you get to understand why the car's pace dropped off in the race?
Well, it started with 3 wheels, which didn't help after the contact in the first corners. No, I think, we had some good testing and a bit disrupted by the rain, which was a surprise to all of us in Bahrain and Tuesday, but we did manage to get Wednesday afternoon some good data and good info. I think we found some interesting setup that we should have been running during the race. I think the car is fast and it's good, and you don't qualify twice in the top 10 if you don't have a fast car. So I think we just missed something in Bahrain that we found at testing, which was good. And I think right now what we need is a bit of luck on our side, and make sure that we go through the race with no incident or no issue, and we should be able to have a good weekend.
And anything different with your helmet this weekend?
Yeah, I've changed the design using the F1 1000 logo. That looks really cool. Just a full white helmet. Nothing really from the past of Formula One, but I was not very, I used to throw all my equipment to the bins of the season. And luckily my wife pushed me to keep at least one thing from every year. I know I've got one overall per year from all my racing careers, from go-karts to 2019 season. And actually when I look at them now, I think it's pretty cool. So, I've got some helmet back home that means more than others. My 100 Grand Prix helmet, and obviously being part of race 1000 in Formula One is going to be something big. So that helmet is going to go on the shelf, and I really like the design that we've produced, and looks pretty classy and really cool to be driven in China.
Thank you, Roman. Good luck this weekend. Sergio, coming on to you. It hasn't been the easiest of starts for the team in 2019, although you did finish in the points last time out. Are there any underlying issues with the car? And if there are, what are they?
I think, the upgrade that we brought to the start of the season, given that we didn't have enough time to test or to work on it, I think that put us in the back foot at the moment in the midfield group. So we scored points in Melbourne and now in Bahrain. So at the moment we are not fast enough. We are not where we want to be, but I think, we've proven in the past, it's a very long season. It doesn't matter where you are now, it's where you get to Abu Dhabi, and I think we are understanding our issues. We have a lot of work to do, and I think pretty confident that we're going to meet all our targets for this season.
Okay. And your helmet design this weekend?
The design didn't change much. It's I wanted to put the 1000 race logo on my helmet just to. It's obviously very special, as a driver to race here on such a special venue for Formula One. It's a very special weekend also, so I want, as Roman said, to remember this weekend in many years, look at this helmet and remember that I was part of the 1,000 race for Formula One.
Thank you, Sergio. Good luck this weekend. Kimi, thanks for waiting. Coming on to you. Great start of the season for you and Alfa Romeo. Points in both of the opening 2 races. Can you tell us what are the strengths of this year's car, and has the performance so far changed your goals for the season?
No, it hasn't. I didn't really have any goals, so it's a bit hard to change them. So I can't really talk. Last year's car, obviously, I did the test, but it's one track. So from my side, it's hard to say what is a lot better on this car than what they had last year. But for sure, they did a good job over the winter. From the car that I drove in Abu Dhabi in a tire test to what we have now. Obviously, there's a lot of things to improve still, and it's kind of never-ending story and ongoing things to try to make it better and building more downforce and stuff like that. But yeah, I think in general it's quite a good, solid package, and I think the guys we understand it pretty okay, and they seem to have a good guys on all the areas to bring new stuff. It never comes fast enough, but that's a normal issue in any team you go. But yeah, I think the base is there. It just needs to be made faster all the time. So keep it up and see what we got when we get in the end of the year.
And anything different on the helmet design to celebrate 1,000 races?
No. I wanted to have open face helmet, but there was some regulation issues. So.
Okay. Thank you, Kimi. Thanks to all 4 of you. Let's open this up to the floor now. Please remember to give your name and publication. First question, please.
Dieter Renken, Racing Lines and RaceFans.net. Checo, you say your helmet design hasn't changed much, but I'm sort of hearing from an insider that your helmet has actually changed. Do you have a different brand for this race?
Yeah, in that regard, yes. I've moved to Bell. I've been a long term with the partnership with Schube, which I'm very thankful. I think it's a fantastic helmet. Now I had the opportunity to change, and I think Bell is also a fantastic helmet. I've tried it, so yeah, it's my first race with them now. I started my career actually in Formula One with them, and now I'm going back to Bell.
Thank you. Next one, please.
Kimi, hi. Stephen Wade with Associated Press. We see that this summer you're going to break a F1 record for the most races contested. How do you stay motivated? You've had tremendous success already. How do you stay motivated and stay on top of your game?
I don't know really. I don't have any special things that I try to motivate myself, and I think it's become more as a hobby for me lately than anything else, and probably that's why it's more fun again. So I always try to do the best that I can. Some days it goes a bit better than others, but that's how it goes when you do a lot of racing. It's some days it's a bit more tricky than others, but yeah, it's never really been an issue. Even so, a lot of people think so, but that's everybody has right to say what they think. So I just try to do what I can, and hopefully, when I feel myself that it's not what I expect from myself, then obviously I try to find a new hobby after that. So.
Thank you, Kimi. Next question, please.
Michael Butterworth, Xinhua News Agency. To all 4 drivers, keen to know your thoughts on the Shanghai circuit and if there are any particular features or characteristics that make it especially challenging or unique.
Who wants to start with that? Alex, why don't we start your side this time?
Okay. Well, it's my first time here, so a little bit hard to say, but just coming from watching videos and seeing and being on the simulator, just seems like there's about 1,000 lines you can do here. A lot of corners leading onto other corners, so it seems like there's a lot of different styles, pushing entries or pushing exits. So yeah, there seems to be a really technical track. So it's interesting for the drivers, that's for sure.
Kimi.
I think it's a nice track. It's obviously been the same since I came here first time, but there's some good overtaking opportunities, so yeah, and quite a fun to drive.
Sergio?
It's quite a long circuit, long straights, very long corners like turn 1, which is quite hard when you first get here. First lap, it's always very hard to reach the apex, because it's so late in the corner that it kind of gets you. Also, the wind is very, very difficult here. So it's quite a unique place, I'll say. Normally good racing and nice feeling on a one lap. It's definitely a circuit that I enjoy.
And Roman?
Yeah, it's a good circuit. One of the challenges to get here in the morning on time. But no, if not, racing is quite fun, as Kimi say. Qualifying lap is always good. And then in the race, the big challenge is to look after your tires, especially the fronts, with those long corners, turn 1, turn 7, 8, 13. That can really make a huge difference if you've used your tires too much or not, and then you can have some good racing. So yeah, I think it's a pretty good place to come.
Thank you. Any more questions, please? Yep.
Thank you. Stuart Codling, Autosport. A question for Alex. The 2021 technical regulations currently taking shape and are under discussion. The desired outcomes are for a more level playing field, for there to be more overtaking opportunities. Do you think that reducing the amount of data capture would provide that, or would it actively be a problem for drivers such as you who are just coming into the sport? Would it be a disadvantage?
Is this to promote overtaking? I wouldn't say reducing data would affect overtaking. Kind of on my side at least, data is more just for kind of getting lap time, but it wouldn't be a tool, I'd say. Reducing it would affect with the passes, no.
Alex, would it make your job harder if there was no data?
In relation to overtaking, no.
No, just in general.
Oh, yeah, I would say so. I think data now is, obviously in Formula 1, it's huge. It's kind of, especially for me, it's a fast track to getting up to speed. And even just about getting performance, it's definitely something I use a lot. I compare with Danny quite a lot. I think some drivers look at data more than others. I'm a driver who looks at data quite a lot just to, as I said, get up to speed. But yeah, I'm using it a lot right now. But as you said, for passing or overtaking, no.
Thank you. Next question, please.
Veljko Jukic, Autofocus Slovenia. I have a question for Kimi. They say you are slower with each kid for about 1 second. How you compensate this now when you have 2 seconds slower conditions to drive?
But maybe I have somehow go faster on the same time, compensated. But I don't think the kids make any. There's an awful lot of stories that are based on nothing in F1. So I didn't ever feel that suddenly something happened on my driving when our family got bigger. But I don't know. I guess it depends from people to people also. Sometimes it might affect, but at least on our side, on my side, I don't feel it like it did. Obviously, the life changed a lot outside of racing, but yeah, pure driving didn't really affect on my side.
Checo, I might just throw that question to you and to Roman.
Similar to Kimi, I think it doesn't. Formula One drivers are not normal, I will say, you know. So when we're driving, we don't think that we have family, we have kids, we just want to go as fast as we possibly can. I think out of racing, yeah, it changes. You sleep a lot less, looking after your kids and so on. So all of a sudden, a Formula One race weekend becomes a holiday, you know, because you're able to sleep longer and so on. So but it's a lot of fun. And it doesn't really affect at all. If it takes 1 second, then it means in the past we were really quick, you know, because if we had a couple of seconds in the pocket, it means a lot.
Roman, anything to add?
No, I think what the boys say is pretty much the truth. You know, I think it changes you as a man back home, and changes your whole life and perspective, and probably helps you more than slows you down. When you have a tough weekend and you come back home, you've got your kids. Doesn't matter what happened, they love you, and you love them more than anything. So actually, yeah, it's to put things in perspective. But yeah, with 3 kids now, 3 seconds off the pace, my goodness, quite happy to be qualified in the top 10.
Alex, any children we don't know about?
No.
Okay, next question, please.
Julien Billiot, Auto-Hebdo. Question to all 4 drivers. How do you think Formula One will look like for race 2000 in 40 or 50 years' time? Will car racing still exist? And what kind of cars could we see on track? Or would you like to see on tracks?
Well, we started with Alex last time, so I think, Roman, we'll start with you.
I actually already answered that question on the phone with Julien. It's a tough one. I've got no idea what the car's going to be like in 40, 50 years. The only thing I'll say, I hope there's still going to be a driver driving the car, because that's where emotions goes. You know, if you put a football game with just robot, it's not going to be much fun. So I hope there's still going to be drivers. Technology will be very different, I'm sure. But I think the essence of racing has been here since 1950. It's the first F1 race where the guys were driving at their best, trying to overtake the guy in front of them and going as fast as they could with what they have. And oversteer was oversteer back then, and understeer is understeer back today. So, you know, I think the feeling was the same. So I hope the guys are going to have as much fun as we do have today.
Jaco?
Yeah, similar. I think technology these days is developing scary, you know. So I really hope that in the future the drivers are still at the driver and they're able to have as much fun as we do, or because yeah, I think things are going to change massively. So yeah, I really hope at least that things stay the same. Obviously, they will be very different. I think probably they might be electric, but I mean in a couple of years. Yeah, I hope in many more years, and yeah, just that the driver still be important. You know, I think I don't know how it was in the past, but these days the driver is less important. The driver can make less of a difference, and it's now all related to the team. So I think for the future and for my time that I'm here, I can see a different Formula One where the driver can make the difference instead of the team.
Kimi?
Yeah, it's impossible to know what will happen. I guess probably there will be racing on some sorts of racing, who knows what, but it's been now 1,000 races, so you know, I don't think it's gonna disappear somehow suddenly, but who knows? I mean, we'll find out when it's that time.
Thank you. And Alex?
Yeah, same as them. As long as we have a job, or the future of our racing drivers have a job, then I'm happy.
You may still need it.
Okay. Any more questions, please? Yep.
Zoran Živkov, Top Speed magazine, Serbia. Question to all 4 drivers. When you look at the past, this jubilee and history, if you have had a time machine, in which period, in which era you would like to come back, potentially?
Alex, I think it's your turn to start.
I haven't really thought about that. I'd say let's go old school, like 1950s. Just see what I want to see kind of how the sport was back then. I know it's dangerous, so maybe I'll bring my hands device with me, and we'll see. But I think that kind of racing is cool, and yeah, I'd like to try it out.
Thank you. Kimi?
No, I wouldn't want to come back for the second one anymore. So, but yeah, I guess in the past, I said maybe 70s, 60s, late 60s, 70s. For sure, would have been more fun, more relaxed, more pure racing. But obviously, much more dangerous. But that's, that's was normal. Let's say that time. So
we saw you with a James Hunt helmet a few years ago, didn't we?
A bit more than 3 years, but yeah.
Okay, thanks, Kimi. Checo?
Yeah, I think that in 1960s, 70s, I think those times were good fun. The driving looked like very dangerous, of course. So I think the driver, depending on the risk that you took, you could have made the difference. I think it's something that all my career I've missed. That always the difference is made by the cars and not so much by the driver. So I think back then was good fun. It looked really good, and also the atmosphere was really relaxed. I think these days Formula One is too posed, and yeah, I wish that it was a bit more relaxed and people enjoying more themselves.
Roman, and you?
Yeah, I'm not going that far. I think I'm really in love with 93, 94, and then 2005 and 6. Maybe I should ask Kimi who was back then. Yeah, you were racing. I love the cars around that time, and they looked amazing, and they were tire wear as well, which were quite fun to watch from outside. I thought, and refueling, and just the car looked really, really cool mid-2000s. So I drove a 2007 car, but wish racing looked quite good then.
Thank you. Any more questions?
Yi from Titan Sports. Question to Kimi. No matter which teams you are in, you always seem to be the fans' favorite here in China. So from your perspective, what characteristics you have to attract so many fans in China?
I have no idea. You need to go and ask them. I mean, I think generally Japan, China, Finnish people, we seem to have a lot of fans, and yeah, it's great. Sometimes, especially here, I cannot go anywhere, but that's a part of the, let's say, the other side of the fans. So, but yeah, I always had a lot of fans here since the first time we came here. So I'm happy about it, but I don't know the reason. I guess you will probably get the answer if you go and come in front of our hotel. I think you can ask from or at the airport.
Thank you. Next question.
Dieter Renken, Racing Lines and RaceFans.net. You may have noticed that in Bahrain, McLaren was sponsored by an e-cigarette brand, Vipe, particularly the three fathers there. How do you feel about this? Do you think it sets the right sort of example for your children?
Roman.
Oh dear. We're gonna. Yeah, well, I'm gonna dig my own hole. Right. I think if you want to watch on Netflix, because they're our friends now, whatever content you want, you can. And I mean, I am the first one to tell my friends stop smoking, and I've actually achieved that a few times, and I'm quite proud of that. I think e-cigarettes maybe somehow is a less extent bad. I think if they want to sponsor Formula One, why not? I think I've been many years with Total, which is an oil company in France or in the worldwide, and we've actually done some amazing experience together. And you could say that oil is actually not good for the environment and so on, but I think actually, a company like Total are trying to do a lot for the environment and not just producing oil. So I think at the end, if I don't know much about e-cigarettes, to be fair, but if it's better for healthy reason, if it's less smelly as well, you know, we just came up the stairs here and it smells cigarette like hell. Same when you leave an airport. First thing you do when you go out of an airport, everyone is smoking his first cigarette and it stinks. And if e-cigarette can be better in somehow, then great. So I think if it's better, then why not? And if it helps our sport, then great.
Thank you. Checo?
I think Roman did a good job with that one.
Kimi, anything from you?
No, I have no issue. I mean, I don't see the connection that if my son sees advertising on any of that, doesn't matter if it's alcohol, cigarettes, something, I don't believe that affects his choices whatsoever. I mean, that's my belief on that, and it didn't affect on my choices when I have seen them in the past. I think, rules are rules, what you can do, what not, that's not my business, but I have no worries on those.
I think that's a great point that Kimi is bringing here. Because we watched Formula One when it was a lot of cigarettes on the car. Williams, Jordan, Ferrari, McLaren, and I mean, I've never smoked all my life, but I've been watching a lot of races, so I don't think there's any connection there.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Good luck this weekend. That's all we've got time for now, and a full transcript of this press conference will be available shortly at FIA.com.